Chapter 8. Alex soon discovered she may have been a little too optimistic about tracking down Mara Miletus. As it was suspected, Mara was using a modified accountability chip. The address that came up for her place of residence was a vacant lot. She was essentially off the grid, so any other search would prove useless.
Search Alexandra Gray.
The search populated thousands of results. They needed more information to narrow down the parameters.
We could always hack into the government database.
Do you know how to do that?
Let's just say I'm no stranger to hacking into secure locations, if you know what I mean.
Great. Can you teach me how?
Don't worry. I can just do it for you.
Eris offered.
No, I prefer to do it. This is highly illegal, and I don't want to get you involved.
No, it'll take too long to download. It's a huge file. I was only able to download a fraction of it, and even that took me days under multiple sessions.
Where's the file?
It's in the cloud.
Send me the patch.
But, hey, don't complicate things. Just send her the patch already.
Eris was befuddled, but obliged with her request. Alex sat down and waited for the patch to be transferred to her access pod. The patch transfer was quick, and within moments it was ready to be wirelessly downloaded into her brain. Alex leaned back and closed her eyes. The download began, and Alex's eyes started fluttering rapidly. While still conscious and coherent, it was recommended to have a clear mind and remain silent during downloads. Even though she was just sitting there, it was still a sight to behold. Milo and Eris were used to downloading files, but to see the famous Alexandra Gray in action was something special. They remained in silence, staring at her, both showing their admiration on their faces. Alex's brain was like a never-filling reservoir, and the speed at which the data was being transferred was unlike anything they had seen before.
How much space does she have in there anyway? Don't worry, it's enough,
Milo said proudly. Just then, the transfer had completed and Alex opened her eyes.
That was incredible! You just downloaded the entire file in under a minute. I've never seen anything like that.
It's not that I have a limitless capacity,
she said, addressing Eris's question.
My brain is incredibly efficient with how it stores and processes data. I have a condition known as synesthesia.
What?
Synesthesia. It's a Greek word meaning together. The human brain is comprised of many different compartments, each with its own function. The frontal lobe recognizes smell and is responsible for things such as a person's behavior, characteristics, and movement. The parietal lobe helps a person identify objects and understand spatial relationships. The occipital lobe is responsible for processing visuals. The temporal lobe is involved in memory, speech, and musical rhythm. There are many other parts, but those are a few to give you an idea. In most people, all these parts perform separate and largely independent functions. But when my brain processes information, every region lends a hand. When I think of numbers, for instance, I attribute shapes, colors, and sounds to the digits. When people listen to music, only one of their senses is activated. I hear music too, but I can also smell it.
Really? What's it smell like?
Mostly raspberries.
Fascinating. She's joking, you dolt. So does that mean you're some sort of savant?
Yes, but I don't have any noticeable side effects from the condition.
Do many people have this?
I'm not sure. It has come up a few times in the medical journals. That's how I learned about it. But I've never heard of anyone other than me who currently has this condition in the same way I have it.
Alex went over to her computer with an intense demeanor.
Initiate Excalibur protocol,
she instructed. A holographic image awaited further command.
Prompt Trojan sequence 4030.
Hey, what's she doing? It's your patch. Don't you know this stuff? Like I said, it was a big file. Oh right, I forgot. You can't download it in full. Huh. Neither could you! Just be quiet, okay?
Milo said.
May I remind you, she's hacking into a government server and needs total concentration.
Alex began rattling off a series of codes that were a mixture of broken phrases and alphanumeric sequences. It all sounded like gibberish to the uninitiated. Various screens and images populated as she navigated the global network with blinding speed. The screens were flashing so quickly that Milo and Eris did not catch any more than a glimpse of whatever she was looking at. Alex used her hands to swipe aside the holographic projections and keep them organized.
This is incredible to watch,
Eris whispered to Milo. It was the one thing they shared in common, admiration of Alex's computing abilities. It was almost like watching someone play a musical instrument really well. They both could not help but smile.
Okay, I'm accessing the government records now.
Alex's pace slowed down considerably. She was now deep in the government archives, probably the only one to look at this data in decades. She searched for any incident reports of her date of birth involving a woman giving birth and getting arrested.
I found it!
What's it say?
Says here a woman by the name of Alexandra Gray gave birth in an alley near Ferndale and Willow.
Wait, you were born in an alley?
Apparently. It says that Alexandra Gray was arrested for the criminal act of violating the Child Rearing Act and sentenced to 1 year in prison. The baby, who is named after the mother, was rushed to St. Albans Hospital for further examination.
What are you doing now?
Milo asked inquisitively.
It says here I was born in an alley.
Yeah, so?
Well, I want to see it.
See it?
Milo asked in confusion.
We know the exact date and location of the event. And thanks to this incident report, we now have the precise time of day. I want to check the archives for any surveillance footage that may have captured a video of that fateful night.